Hey, what up, KX crew? Today I'm going to be talking about Sarah Fuller, aka the first girl to be in a Power 5 college football game. If you don't know what the Power 5 is, just know that it is a major football conference. She's not the first girl to ever play in a college football game, but she had her own historic moment on November 28, 2020. Now, before I get into my thoughts, just a little bit of context so you know what I'm talking about. I don't watch a lot of college football, I mostly watch the NFL and the CFL, but this caught my attention. So there's a team called the Vanderbilt Commandeers, and they needed a kicker. They had a bunch of players that were down because of
current world affairs.
And because Sarah was already a pro college soccer player in the same state, they asked her if she would be the kicker for their game. Now, she didn't have any plans of being a kicker in a college football game. She was just heading home for the holidays, all right? Her mind was probably not, I'm going to go out there and show the world, I'm going to go prove to the world how powerful women are. I don't think any of that was on her mind. They asked her for help, and she did. So she had only a few days actually to learn. You know, I don't know if she had any experience prior. I don't think so, to what it's like to kick a football, because if you've ever kicked a football, it is very different than kicking a soccer ball. So the fact that she had only a few days to learn how to do a long range football kick down a football field is no small task. I don't even know if I could learn how to kick a football that far in a few days, but because she had a soccer background, she was up for the task. That context is important when you watch the kick and you see how people responded. So my thoughts watching this clip is that it was exciting. The crowd was all cheering, there's a lot of hype built up around it, and it's kind of a monumental thing anytime a female steps on a football field. It is a very tough sport, and the physiology that women are born with make it very difficult for them to be in a men's football game. Give them credit where credit is due. Anyway, so she goes up to the ball and she kicks it, and the crowd doesn't go nuts because it wasn't a super incredible kick. Now, it went to the 35-yard line, which is actually a pretty decent place for the ball to be for the other team to start at. That's usually about the range where the kicker is aiming anyway, but because the ball didn't go straight into the air, it wasn't a big, flashy, fun-to-watch arc in the sky, people thought it was just a bad kick, and I've seen nothing but bad responses and people making fun of her. Even Ben Shapiro got in on the action here, making fun of her. And the comment sections of every video I see on this girl is just toxic. It's just men roasting her for saying that she just got handed this opportunity to be a kicker because she's a woman, she didn't have to work for it. People making fun of the kick itself, people just making fun of the technical aspects of it, and saying, how is this monumental? She did something that a man could do and men can do it better, who cares? And after I went into the comment sections, I thought everybody was going to be cheering and supportive. I couldn't believe the toxicity that I saw. I just really don't understand why people wouldn't be supportive of this girl. Yeah, it wasn't a great kick, but she went out onto the field and she did her job, which is what any football player could hope to do. And even though the team got creamed, they got blown up, they didn't score any points, so she didn't have a chance to kick a field goal because I guess their offense never made it all the way to the field goal range. I didn't watch the game. I still think it was pretty cool. The way that sports are today, men and women can't really coexist on a football team because it's high contact, and the physiology of men and women just aren't in a place where we can beat each other up yet on a level playing field. But I think it's really cool if one day we did have some kind of league where it coexisted. There's no reason why women can't be kickers on football teams already today, or in positions that are less about tackling. There's no reason why women can't be tackled. A lot of positions like running backs or receivers, or positions where you don't do a lot of tackling, you have to learn how to take hits, right? That's part of the position. So maybe women don't have the size and the weight to fully tackle and take down fully grown adult men, but they can definitely be in certain skill positions. I don't think that is too far away from where we are today. She's not a giant jacked monster, but she is 6'2". She's taller than I am, so that would probably give her an edge on being a receiver that I wouldn't have, right? She's probably faster and more agile than I am. She's a soccer player. She has the endurance. There's no reason why she couldn't be a wide receiver or something like that. I'm just saying I'm really surprised at how close-minded the sports community was in response to this. I just don't understand why we can't take steps towards things like this. Also, another reason why I guess it feels surreal to imagine, a woman playing in the NFL is that we think of women playing sports and we think of the girls in our lives, the women that we typically see. But if you can imagine, like, you know how difficult it is to get on an NFL team. If women were competing for that position in like a high level football league like the NFL, imagine some of the beasts, the monsters of women that would show up to these things and stick it to a lot of the men. Like, I would rather be hopeful than just assume the female gender as a whole will never be at a level where they can ever be on the same playing field as men. Like, I know they'll always be at a biological disadvantage, but there's no reason why, like I said before, skill positions would be a great place to start. Even the position of a quarterback, like, there's no reason to assume that there are no women out there that have a good arm on them, or that there are no women that can scramble 20 yards on a football field while dodging people, and there's no reason to assume that there are no women out there that can take a hit. I'm not like against football and how it is now. I'm just not so close-minded that I can't see a reality where it's not all men on the field, and the fact that there's a woman standing on the football field doesn't make me go into a seething rage like a lot of the people responding to this. Like, there's a lot of different YouTube videos of people just like laugh reacting and making fun of her and telling her that she doesn't belong on the football field. It's just it's really disappointing to see. And I also just want to say that I've played on the same football field as girls on a couple different occasions, and I've personally been a football coach to girls. Now, when I played against them, I remember the first time that I played against a girl on a football field, she was on the offensive line, and I didn't even realize that there was a girl on their team until like halfway through the game, because she was a bigger girl, so she filled her role on the offensive line. Like, you gotta have a big body for that, and she held her blocks. She was athletic. Like I said, didn't even realize she was a girl. Obviously, that was high school. It might get a little bit harder to pull that kind of thing off in the big leagues, but still, that's like a good example of how women can play football, right? Like, you separate the fact that she's a woman and just get her into an athletic position and let her put in the work. That's what matters, right? But I've also played with another girl who was more into it for the credit, right? She was in for it for the clout, for the Instagram pictures, for posing with the football boys, for showing the world that she was a girl on the football team, and it was all about status for her, and sticking it to men and saying, look at me, I'm a girl playing with the big boys, don't mess with me. And that ego is what made it toxic. It's what made the guys on the team not like her. The thing is, if she had just gone on the football field and just been a baller and used her athletic abilities to show the team how good she is as an athlete, not as a girl on a boys team, just as an athlete. If we can just separate the genders and just look at everybody as athletes, that's what matters, not if it's a girl on a boys team. So I guess you could say I've personally had positive and negative experiences playing with or against female football players. And I've also, like I mentioned, been a football coach to girls in high school who were playing football. That didn't exist when I was playing football, so it was actually kind of cool to see that girls were trying out for the football team when I became of a coaching age. And when I was coaching them, I didn't give them any special treatment. If they wanted to be on the football team and they wanted to play with everybody else, I didn't give them easy matchups. I didn't give them easier drills. Like, it's a level playing field for everybody. Like, some of the girls wanted to be linebackers and stuff, like very physical positions. And I didn't treat them like girls on the boys football team, and I didn't treat the boys any different than the girls. I just treated them all equally as athletes. That's the main takeaway I want to make in this video. So yeah, I guess I was just really disappointed with how the sports community responded to this kick. I think it's not really about the kick. She could have gone out there and missed the ball completely. I mean, that wouldn't have been great, but my point is just that we're taking steps as a sports community for this to become a normal thing. And I mean, if you want to look at it from a technical perspective, yeah, it wasn't a great kick, but also she only had a few days to prepare. Like, imagine if she had, like, this is college level football. If she had had her whole life to prepare for this kick, like a lot of these other football players, she probably would have had an awesome kick. But look at the time frame she was working with. So anyways, that's going to do it for this video. I went on a little bit of a tangent there, but I don't know. What do you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next video. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, consider doing so. It would really help me grow my channel. Klaus next out.